On this day in gaming,
GTA San Andreas, in an unprecedented move for the industry, had its ESRB rating changed from M to AO after it had already been stocked on the shelves of retail. The already controversial Grand Theft Auto franchise had stirred up the boiling pot with the Hot Coffee mod, a piece of hidden content in San Andreas that became discovered by the modding community shortly after the game's release by Rockstar North, and it would deal the gaming industry yet another blow. I know, I apologize for that succession of puns. Oh man, I can't stop, I'm sorry. What was hot coffee, I hear you asking? Not because you don't know, but because you're hypersexual young males eager to hear me illustrate the finer points one more time. Alright, you perverts. Basically, your character CJ goes on a date. He walks his woman to the doorstep, he gets invited in for some coffee, classic euphemism, but instead of the typical sequence in which the camera would wait outside as you listen in on your protagonist getting some action, you'd get a front row seat, actually getting to control CJ's stick as he earned some extra lives. It drew ire, to say the least. Congress was quick to counter, with the familiar foes of these vile video games fighting at the forefront. Joe Lieberman, Hillary Clinton, Jack Thompson, politicians convinced that these perverse products were melting the minds of our kin and kind. Violence in the medium has been a lingering issue ever since the 80s generation of kids stomping on Koopa shells grew up and itched for a deeper and more mature mode of escapist freedom. 1992 and 93 would see much of that maturity in both the industry and its audience, evident with the release of games like Night Trap and Mortal Kombat, the latter drawing both awe and alarm with its fatality moves. Grabbing some guy's spine, oh my god, that's so cool! Grabbing some guy's spine, oh my god, our kids are going to hell! That was the mentality. Parents were on the defensive. Only a year later, Doom would continue to push the envelope, at least in the eyes of gaming critics, while its gorified content was glorified by the gamer. Though the industry, overcoming its greatest hurdle since the 1983 crash, would ultimately overcome the opposition by devising the ESRB, a ratings board that would be lauded as the most detailed in any entertainment medium. A game called Grand Theft Auto and its millennial sequels would become the icon for the next generation of violence in video games. GTA was the new target on the block, the one for the concerned mother to point the finger at. But for whatever reason, sex in games or movies has always been more offensive and distasteful than violence. So when Hot Coffee started filling mugs around the world, the Entertainment Software Ratings Board responded. They changed the rating from mature to adults only. Now that rating alone is virtually never used, but to change the rating after the release of the game, that was unheard of. It's still pretty much unheard of. A patch removed the content and served up the coffee cold. But why does this day in gaming matter? What does the event mean? Well, it means that the ESRB still takes the integrity of the gaming industry very seriously. That may be something that we take for granted now and again, but remember, it was only 20 years ago that the entire trade was threatened to be regulated by a federal ratings board. I mean, can you imagine that? Integrity matters, especially with regards to the history of the video game. After all, it was a lack thereof that brought the whole thing down. Grand Theft Auto would undeniably help to strengthen the cinematic experience in video games, but it has also always walked a careful line. It's important to know that there is a line, and crossing it means consequences for all of us in the entertainment biz. GTA San Andreas got its rating changed from M to AO by the ESRB, July 20th, 2005, this day in gaming.